All right, so hopefully you all have a character model. Does anyone not? Like a little robot one? Okay, cool. Again, it's a really simple one. I didn't need anything crazy. We're just gonna get ready to set things up, and I'll show you a alternative version that just does it for you using AI. But obviously, you don't get everything that you want. And then we will also have a little bit of, I guess, like a talk about a full character, like an organic character, where instead of like an arm piece and an arm piece, that would be one piece, because then we need to do something called weight matching, or weight painting, or weight sharing. Essentially, because my skin is my skin and it's not two separate pieces, I have a bone here and a bone here. I have two bones here, but you know what I mean. Assume I have a bone here and a bone here. If there are two separate pieces, that's completely fine. That's what we're going to do today. This upper bit is going to be to the top bone, no problem. The lower bit is going to be bound to the lower bone, so no problem. Where the bone moves, the pieces move. But that doesn't work in real life. I've got skin that bends and stretches and stuff like that. So what happens is those two bones need to share an influence here, and they need to share an influence different in this crease part, because that needs to crease, and this part needs to stretch. It almost never, unless you're creating some weird character, which we're not gonna at the start, it never goes the other way, right? Which means topology-wise, I'll also make topology so it's easier to stretch here, and then here is easier to crimp, all right? And then we share it between, and then it gets even more complex when we get to, let's say, here, this collar area. This is very complicated. Because I got my neck moving, so when my head moves, my neck moves, it moves this slightly, but then my arm also adjusts this, and then when I move my chest, it also adjusts it. So all of these now have a little bit of influence. And then how the edge flow is, like how my topology works, and also how my weight distribution affects how that works. And that is a whole job. Rigging is an entire job to do it. Retopologizing is an entire job. But for today, we're going to do the easy one. And we're just going to do basic rigging. And everything is pieces, so they should be easy. Oh, let me get rid of this. It already had a skin, but I don't want that. Scene Explorer. Actually, I kind of want to use one of yours. Who's got a good one? So I can fix it if it's broken. And if it's not broken, great. Anybody got one? Yeah, I want a basic one. I was going to use the Iron Giant, but you know what? Let's do a basic one. Yeah, let me just pause the recording. Okay, here we go. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do. I know last week I told you all to separate it, but we're going to be animating differently because we're going to use a rig system. Last week we had them separate because we animated them using transforms. We animated using transforms, which you can do in Unity. You can just grab a game object and rotate it. But we're not going to do that. So basically we're going to make this one single game object. If I bring that into Unity, it's not like all the separate parts. It is one single piece. Also, because when we go to create like a organic creature or model, it's going to be most of the time single piece. Maybe clothing might be separate. So what I'm going to do is just grab any bit of this. Oh, you named it and everything. So sorry. What do you want to call it? What's the full name? Gerard. Okay, so then I'm just going to attach everything else in there. I'm going to do it by list. Everything else attach. Okay, so it's all one piece. Gerard's one piece. And effect pivot, center object. I'm making sure to align to the world. And then I'll bring the pivot point. Make sure that it's exactly here. Cool. Turn off effect pivot. And then I also want to snap it to the center of the grid. Which just makes it easier to work with. So it's in the origin point, 0, 0, 0. Okie dokie. I'm going to check its scale as well. Scale box 1, 1, 1. Okay, so it's about Gerard is sugar. Gerard is about 5 meters high. Ooh, he tall. He's about 5 meters high, but I'm assuming we can rescale that down later, right? Okay. We'll just do a quick check. All right. So he's 5 meters high. We might want to scale him down later, but for now, keeping him there is okay. Let me save this. Desktop. Asset design. Intro to animation. Gerard. Okay. So, we know that Gerard is one single object, as you can see here. Ooh, what is this thing? What is this thing? Is that an empty game object? What is this? What is mark? I don't know, I just saw a thing here called robot. Is it transparent? But it's got a box. Is it a dummy? Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so, sorry. Just make sure. I just want to make sure it's in the middle as well. Okay, cool. It's facing forwards, which is very important. We need to make sure it's facing forwards. And then I'm just going to hide him for a sec. Oh, sorry. I'm all over the place. I'm just going to make sure these are all separate pieces. They are. Oh, there's an upper torso and lower torso. Nice. Okay, and then the head, and then we have a little antenna bit as well. Cool. So they're one object, but they're all separate pieces. Again, the way we're doing it with rigs, it doesn't matter if they're separate pieces or if they're single. But for today, I just want to show you the really easy way, which is just keeping them separate. I will now hide Gerard to show you some stuff. So if you go to the Create panel, and over here in Cat Objects, there is a thing. Oh, sorry, it will show standard. Like you click the drop down, and you go to Cat Objects. There's a thing called Cat Parents, Cat Muscle, Cat Strand, and Cat Parents allow me to create parents that can. They're like rigs for bone rigs almost. So there's a bunch of like basic ones here. So I have like a base human, for example, and you can kind of see it has all the skeletal structure of a basic human, but it's slightly stylized. You have like a crab, like an English dragon. Is there a non-English dragon? No, there's no. There's like a T-Rex kind of, well, also kind of thing we made for that. An angel. I don't even know what an angel looks like. Yeah, it's got wings and everything. Goth girl. Game car. And then what's a Gano? Oh, it's Gnu. But that's like fully rigged. And mech. That's cool. That's from like the old Mech Warrior. I don't know if you guys remember Mech Warrior. No, Mech Warrior. It's a really old game. It's good. Panther. So anyway, there are a bunch of like preset shapes. What I want to teach you is how to make your own shape. So there's two ways to do animations. You can either do it by bones, which is individually go in here, set up a pelvis bone, link them all up, link all that. If you remember first year, where we made the character, that's similar to that, but in 3D. But then you need to worry about like your links, your IK, whatever. The good thing about like the CAT system is it does a bunch of stuff for you by default. So it'll have arms, it'll have tails, it'll have like spines and stuff pre-built. I'll show you that in a second. Let's see, what am I going to do here? I will also Alt-X to make sure it's transparent, because I want to be able to see to Gerard. And I'm going to freeze Gerard. Does that keep it transparent? Yes, it does. That's great. We used to have to know. So instead of cat parent, I'm going to do none. So it's not creating a actual. It's not creating one of these. And I'm going to turn on my snaps. Okay, so my snaps toggle, turn that on. Make sure I'm snapping to the grid, because I want to make sure that it's snapping to exactly below Gerard. If that makes sense. So they're in line. Okay, so that's it. the size of the triangle should more or less, when I look at it from the top, kind of more or less cover the character. It doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry about it. So then with the character, I can now create a pelvis. Create pelvis. Great stuff. And when I go to the pelvis, and then I go to the create mode, this is now the pelvis. I can rename it. I can be like Catrig Gerard pelvis. And this is the kind of like hip bone, which again, oh, let me turn off snaps. If you remember from first year, your hip bone usually is the thing that like everything else is linked to. From this, I'm also going to turn off the character, just make it invisible, just so I don't accidentally select it, because I can keep like adding more stuff and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to turn that off. It's still there, but I just made it invisible. And then with the pelvis, I need to resize it so it more or less fits Gerard's pelvis, and the edges of the box are where the legs are going to come from. So I'm going to go like here maybe, and I'll add a leg, and I'll show you what that does. So let me add a leg, and it automatically adds a full leg. Okay, not completely full. Yeah. And then I can move this platform, and you can see the platform allows it to the leg to aim towards the platform. So I can put it there, and that way I have a leg system. If I grab this, for example, and move it. Oh no, sorry, it's not selected yet. Let me just go to. Let me do that yet. So I have a leg system that works like a leg would. Does that make sense? I can also animate that, and it works like a leg would. It's got a knee, it's got everything, but there's more stuff I can do with it. So let me just delete all of this. Oh shit, did I delete it? I did. Okay, go back. Alright, so again, this is why we use this. I like using this system, even though you can build your bone yourself. This just gives you a quick way to do it. Building bones structures yourself, the rig yourself, is way more complicated, takes more time, but it does give you more flexibility. So if you can really fine tune what stuff does. So if you're a full animator, which we don't have time to teach you, that's like a 3-4 year course. You probably would build your own rig. You control like exactly how much the angles are, where the IK moves to, all sorts of stuff. But we're just doing game development, basic stuff. Let me just do local. Can Blender do this? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Sorry? You can definitely... So like, right now I'm not animating it, so I can adjust where the leg positions are. Now, be careful, okay? So the first thing this is a platform. That's where the leg starts from. And I always tell people to edit the limb from the outside in. Because if you think about it, like, if I have an arm, and then like tweak the finger, I can do that, and then I can move this, and I can move that, and that's fine. It goes to where I want. But if I'm like doing that, and then I'm going to go to the end, you know what I mean? The parent controls everything else, so you always want to do it from the child upwards, and the further away from the limb it is, that's like the more of a child it is. So we go from the outside in, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start from this. Be careful. This is not a foot. This is an ankle. This is the ankle bone. Be very careful. I don't know why they don't put a foot there. They really should. I don't need a foot, but if I wanted to, I could add one. Let me just show you what it would be like if I added one. So I would go to the create panel, add a bone, and that bone is now a child of the ankle. And then I would like adjust it, so that would be the foot. And I would scale it. I try to scale it so it fits the foot. Oops, sorry, the foot shape. And that will be the foot. I would name that foot. So there, where the ankle goes, so you can kind of see that works like that, and the ankle rotates exactly how your foot works. So you grab your ankle and rotate around it, and then the foot kind of like paddles as part of it. So that's kind of what that's for. Now, I don't need a foot because You don't have no foot, so it's fine. I'm just going to use the ankle. The ankle is my control point, though. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to move my, what do you call it? There's a thigh and your shin. Calf. And I want to scale that so it fits around that. The reason why I'm scaling is these bones, when you go to skin them, they have like an envelope around them. And it kind of grabs the vertices close to them. So I'm going to try and scale that to the size. It is. Cool. I like to leave a little tiny bend here, like a really small bend forwards, just so it knows to bend in that direction, okay? Now, the other thing I'm going to add is selecting any of these. I'm going to add something called an up node. Click on that, I get an up node. See the little cross here? What the up node is, it is the knee direction position. So you kind of see when I rotate it, that's where the knee points towards. So it makes sure that the knee locks to it. So instead of like, if I animated like walking, that's fine, my knees are moving forwards. But if I wanted it to like sit on something, I might like rotate the up node that way. And it follows the up node to the knee. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. And then I always take my time, make sure this is correct. Do I need any more? No, up node, I don't need a foot, I don't need anything else. The bend looks okay. Maybe move this a little bit forward. Just like a tiny bit. Probably should have done that before I added the up node, that's fine. That's fine. And then once I'm done, I want the Blender boys to watch this. I go back to the pelvis, and because the leg was made as a child of the pelvis, when I add another leg, it knows that I've made one leg, so I'm probably going to make a leg on the other side, and it does exactly the same thing on the other side. So I don't need to redo it. Again, if you make your own custom rig, you will have to define both of those yourself. Okay. Next, let's go. So from the hub again, I've done the legs. I want to add a spine. And I don't want this to be the head. I'll show you why. So if I put this up to the head, that seems like it works, right? Because IRL, it goes all the way up to the head. The spine does. But this is a bit different. So if I rotate this, you'll see what I mean. You know? It means that you can't have the head turning without the entire body turning. So I can't do that. This will probably be my chest piece. Oh no, I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. So I'm going to make this the chest area. And then I can also, in the spine, I can define how many bones are in the spine. So with any of these like preset things, I can click on them, go to the modify panel and see, it says here, spine, how many bones? It has 5 because it's built for like a usual organic rig. But I'm going to make it like 2 maybe, because it's a robot, so I don't really care that much about it in terms of spines. Let's get those up. See the spines. And then I will call this cat rig Gerard's chest. And then from the chest, let's scale this up a tiny bit, I add another spine. This one maybe only 1 bone, because it doesn't have a neck really. And then this is my actual head. So cat rig, Gerard head. Yeah, it's pretty good. It doesn't have to fill exactly. I can so you can kind of see now the difference. So I can rotate the head, but the chest can also rotate separately. Does that make sense? Wait, is this the wrong thing that I scaled? No, it's the head, right? Yeah. It's just because it's still in create mode. Okay. And then from this head, I want this little antenna to do something. So I'm going to do a... what will I do? What will I do? What will I do? Well, you know what? I could just add a bone, and a bone and a bone. I'm going to add a tail. And the tail allows me to do stuff like this. And animate like that. Okay. So I might want that for something like this. So let me make the tail number of links 3, maybe I don't need that many. And then I'll scale them all down. And if you select multiple bones, you can rotate them all at the same time. So basically that antenna will be able to bounce and wobble and do stuff. So it's great for secondary animations. Cool. All good so far? Yeah? Okay. Now for the upper chest body, I'm going to add an arm. Again, similar to this is a palm. So I want to make sure the palm goes in the right position first. So I don't have a hand, so I'll just put the palm here. It'll just be my control interface. So I'll control everything using that palm. And then again, I want to make sure that it bends slightly back. Okay. Let me move all of them to here slightly, just so they're centered. This is a collarbone. Sometimes they're not rigged at all. In my case, I'm not going to use the collarbone as a rig. It still needs to be there, but I'm not going to rig it to it. What does matter for a collarbone is this is the pivot point, right? So this is a bit too low. So I might like make the pivot point up here instead. Okay, so then it'll rotate from here, if that makes sense. So the whole arm rotates from there instead of, it was a bit too low down. Okay, scale this up a tiny bit. Scale that up a tiny bit. All good. And we will do another more complicated one when you come to your characters. We'll do like ones with fingers and actual feet and stuff like that. We might even do a bit of clothing. Not crazy amounts of clothing. I just mean like a scarf or like a cape, something small. Okay, so most clothing nowadays is simulated in Engine anyway. Once that's done, again, go back here. Oh, wait, do I need an up node? I think I will add an up node. Add an up node. Bring it back there so that it knows to aim there. Now, you notice that these up nodes have the lines and this up node doesn't. So it's a bit different. I'm not quite sure why they're different. The knee up node will work even when I'm not animating. You can see there. When I rotate, it rotates. This up node only works when I'm animating. So because I'm not animating, it doesn't do anything. Have I just pressed? It's fine. I had auto key turned on, but I think it's fine. Okay. Go back here. Add an arm again. And I'm done. That is my entire rig all ready to go. Okay. So I can start animating already if I want to. I'm just gonna go to the animation the animation panel here. It's motion. I'm gonna click on this button that says ABS. Hold and click and let go on ABS. ABS stands for absolute. Absolute means I'm animating everything because you can animate like the upper body. You can animate different things. You can animate different. You can have a different layer for each animation. It's up to you. And then I press play to make sure I'm animating. Because if I don't have play on, it is in creation mode. So I can still like adjust like the length of stuff. That's with it off. When I press play, they're now all like, okay, you're animating now. So this is now a locked in skeleton and this is for animation. Does that make sense? Okay. And you can kind of see that it's working. Oh, shoot. Oh, the up nodes go back. Let me just turn. Just move the up nodes for the elbow. Backwards. There we go. Okay, so the elbows now face backwards. Boop, boop, boop. That's great. That works. So let me just move this one here so you see what I mean. So now when I move that, you see the way the elbow's aiming towards it. So that's how you use the elbow up nodes. That's fine. Let's check the bend of the body. Great, that works great. The hip, and again, this is great with the these are kinematic, which means if I do that, the feet stay in the same position. That's what I want. And then the head works fine, and the little antenna goes with. And that's great. These wobble. Cool. So that works. However, the skeleton works. It's just not bringing the body with it, obviously, right? So 3ds Max doesn't know which parts I want bound to which skeleton parts. For that, we need to unfreeze Gerard, go back to Gerard, Alt X to make him visible, and this is where we start adding in the rig. So let me go here. Oh, let me just show you one thing as well. So some people like to do this. I don't. I don't. I prefer animating it by just selecting the bones. But some people like to see the whole thing, and that obviously blocks some of the bones. So what they like to do is like select one of the bones, and then you can do a right click and add gizmo. Where's Gizmo? Is it in here? Can I only add it for these? Can I only do it when I'm not animating? Is it only when I'm not animating? Okay, add gizmo. Is it available when I'm... Yeah, it's unavailable when I'm in animation. So I need to do it before. So right click and... Oh no, where's it gone now? Oh, it's on. So right click and add gizmo. And a gizmo is basically a shape. You can choose from these: circle, rectangle, text, torus. I'm going to do an end on. Okay, and the gizmo, make the radius, allows me to have something like this. So that allows me to control that bone, if that makes sense. Even if I can't see the bone, I can just grab the gizmo if I want to. So that's still controlling the chest bone. Okay? So I don't do this, but you can. It's no problem to add gizmos and stuff. Usually people add gizmos to main control surfaces. So like the palm, the ankles, the pelvis, like head, stuff like that. Okay. Where was I? So go back to here. I'm going to skin guard. And skin is slightly different than what we think it is. So what a skin does is it adds the skin to the mesh, and the skin will follow the bones. So skin is here. I need to add bones. Let's go look in the scene, and I can select all the bones. But remember, I don't want to add the collarbones. I don't want to add the palms because I have no palms. I would if I had actual hands, but because I don't, it's just a robot. I don't need the palms to be added. I need the palms as a bone because they are like the controller for the entire arm, but I don't need them to deform any of the parts of the mesh. The same with the ankles. Unselect those. Where's the other ankle? Here. Everything else, though, should be added. You think? Yeah. Select. So it's all added. Now, let's see what happens by default. Let me grab this. So you see what this is one of the spines, spine 2. So this is affecting everything in blue. It's affecting slightly. Let me grab something. And the head, it's affecting the head a lot, but then it's also affecting body. So you see what I mean? It's not really doing what I want it to. It doesn't know. So like that head bone, those round things around it, they're called envelopes, and they grab everything in the envelope. The further away it is from the envelope, it has a little bit of influence. The closer, it doesn't. So let me show you what happens if I animate this with the system as it is. I'm not changing anything. I just use the default animation. The default skinning. So let me turn off Gerard. Auto key. Is animation on? Yep, animation's on now. So we usually do something like this, where we select all the bones. If we double click on the pelvis, it'll select all the bones, and then we lock that. So this is our reference pose. Every time you see in a game, it goes back to the Model T pose. That's because there's a reference pose here at the start, and then it's snap back to the reference pose. Okay, so it's a mistake. So I have that locked. That's my reference pose. But from here, let me do like a dumb thing. So I just want to see. Excuse me. Oh my god. Usually when you're animating, you change everything to local as well. Because you want to animate locally the bones. Oops. up nodes need to be forward. I can hide these platforms. Okay, so that should animate like this, which is pretty cool. But if I turn it on, because I know the skinning does not work properly, let me turn on the edge faces as well. It's probably going to look all stretchy, right? Because it's not skinned correctly. But it is working. So all we need to do, and we often do this, animators will do like a really dumb pose because we can see all the stretching and all the bits that are wrong, and then we can go and fix them. So let's go back here. So the skin, and I want to turn on edit envelopes because I can edit the envelopes. I want to select vertices because by default I don't select vertices, so I can select the pieces here. So let me do this bone by bone. Let me grab this one. So this is my, like, what do you call it? Forearm? Yeah. I can select by element, so I can select the entire element. And what I can do is scroll down to, I like using this, the weight tool. Weight tool. And we can see that everything I've selected here, it goes from 0 to 1. So it's like 0.349, so basically 35% being affected by that bone, this arm bone. It's 40% being affected by the leg, 20% being affected by the other leg. So that's not great, right? What I want it to do is 100% only be affected by the forearm bone. So that's easy. I can scroll through all these, but I can also select that bone, and I can set this number of weights here. I can just go 1. So it is now 100% linked to that bone. And you can see that when it animates, it follows that bone exactly. That makes sense? Yeah? Alright, then we can just basically keep doing the same for all of these. Great stuff. This one. 100%. And a bone can only be 1, up to 1. So when I made this 1 to this leg, it became 0 to the other leg because it can only ever have a maximum of like 1. 1. The head will probably be 1. Oops, sorry. 1. And then let's make the head not affect this at all. So I was going to set the head to 0. Oof. Oof. Oh, that's the entire ball. Okay, we'll set the ball 100% to this. Okay. That's maybe that. I can't see the other. I made this too thick. Let me just invisible it for a second. I can't select these ones. Is it selecting? I don't know. I think it is. 0 vertices selected. Dang it! I need to get one of the vertices. Let me make the entire cat ray transparent. There we go. I can see that. I made it too thick. Oh, they can't bend. I should have put segments in them. Damn it! I didn't cop that till now. So they won't be able to bend. They'll just be able to like wobble, because obviously they have no segments. But that's fine. Okay. Back here, edit envelopes. So let's make it all, the entire thing linked to that one. Okay, now, all good so far. However, you might have noticed, wait, is the upper piece one piece? No, it's 2 separate pieces. So I've only done one side of it, right? I've done this side of the body. I haven't touched the other side. Hopefully, this should work because this is a very symmetrical model. I should be able to do this thing called a mirror mode. and I want to mirror everything from this side to that side. Oh, it's showing red, so I'm not sure this will work. It works usually if the model is perfectly symmetrical. So I'm going to paste from the blue side to the green side. I don't know if that will work. Does that work? No. So there must be something that's slightly asymmetrical about it. That's fine. That usually does work. Move the pelvis to affect none of these. And let's scrub through the animation. Oh, I forgot to do the other legs. But you can see everything else is working pretty good. Just I forgot the right legs. Do them now. And easy. Cool. What is going on here? What is this doing? Oh, that's just part of the... Actually go to this one. I mean, that makes no sense with the ball separate. I didn't know this was not able to animate. That's fine. It is. So if I went back and edited it and had more segments, basically my skin is lost because I've edited the actual underlying geometry. So I have to make sure the geometry is right before I go to that's the skin. I'll just have to reskin it again, and I can't be arsed right now, unfortunately. Okay. Any questions so far? I can double click my pelvis, and that will give me every bone, and I'll delete these keyframes here, so I can restart an actual animation. When I animate, I like to freeze the actual model and make it transparent, so I only look at the bones. Again, some people like doing it the other way, that's why they have gizmos. I like looking at the bone structure, so it's like almost see-through and I can see the skeletons. So I'm going to start with a idle sequence. My animation, so I'm going to start the idle sequence from 1. And then making sure I lock the first frame, so lock that, and I can copy that to the end. Let me change my time configuration, so I start at frame 1 to frame 100. So that press play will continue through, go to frame 100 and loop back, and then I can start adding my motion. And I usually like animating from the pelvis first, so from the larger bits to the secondary pieces. Okay, it's been doing some weird head bob, that's fine. Let's also spread the legs a little. And we can move the platforms so we stand a little bit further from the head. Okay, let's press play, see how that works. Oh, the platforms need to be here. I've got like a really simple idle animation. Okay, so that's animated from 1 to 100. I will add another one. Let me do a run cycle, 101 to 130. And again, at the start, lock everything. And for this one, it's weird because I want to make it like in the middle of running, right? It's in the middle of the run animation. I'm going to make it like a really ridiculous one, because that would be fun. Make it look like it here. So I want it to be like, oh, you see the way when I move the head, the body moves a little bit? So that means I have to fix the rig a little, which is fine. So go back to, oh, what do I do? Go back to edit poly, edit skin. Overlooks, grab that bone, and then select this. And I want that to be, these two to be completely unaffected by the head. Okay. That should work now. I think the head shouldn't, yeah, isn't affected at all. Cool. So this arm's forward because we're running. This arm's backwards again because we're running like that. And then we'll have the little antenna full speed back. Okay, so it should look like a good in the middle run frame, which it does. Again, double click the pelvis because we want to grab all the bones, or you can select everything because it's frozen the mesh. And then copy paste, good stuff. Cool. And then the animation, again, you might remember from first year, but it's the same concept. So I want to start with that frame and then go to the middle frame and basically invert everything. And this is going to look ridiculous, but it's fine. Okay. Again, lock the center. Sorry, lock all the keys here. Lock. Okay, so if I press play, that's really dumb, but that's fine. Then I'll do the in-betweens. So now go somewhere like here, and this should be the impact. So this should like hit the floor. Let's get the pelvis going down. Take this one here. Keep that foot down longer, so it goes like that. Cool. Am I making sense what I'm doing? Yeah? So the ground. Okay. And then usually the hands, you don't need to do much with them. But then we'll do stuff for like the upper body and pelvis. So the pelvis hits here, we'll rotate it a little bit. Let me copy paste that, it should be the same. And the same with the upper body. So we'll rotate it. Excuse me. Let's make the head always face forwards. I don't have COVID. I just like keep swallowing wrong. Sorry. It's crazy how much it hurts you like after you do it one time. And I want to try and keep the head facing forwards because usually when you run, you do keep your head facing forwards. Okay, so okay, I want to make that a little sillier and bouncier. Let's do this first. So. We can copy paste that. So it's pretty okay, but I want to make it bouncier. The leg's a bit weird as well, and it works. So we'll go in and tweak that. So this is where I can do stuff like exaggeration. So in here, for example, this foot, just before it hits here, I might want to exaggerate it. So I do a little, like, see the way it moves forwards a tiny bit. So it's almost like it's pushing forwards, which gives it a bit more life. It's exaggerated even more. You thought you'd be crazy? Yeah, yeah, it's crazy how much, like, animation can change something. So I don't know if I want that. No, I don't like the extended down. And then the feet, I feel like, oh, the left foot isn't staying down. I didn't do that. That should be done. You know what? No, I didn't. I'm gonna make it even more controlled. Let's wobble it side to side as well. I can change view editing, so this way it does it side to side. So. Okay, I think we're done being stupid. Right, we got walk, we got idle. We can do, like, jump and stuff like that as well. Let's do one jump. So what I might do is copy the idle frame, because it'll be easier to start from the idle frame. Because, like, instead of starting from this animation, I can start from something like this. Which is a little less complicated. Go to 1 through 1. Okay, so this is maybe where it might get a bit confusing. So at 1 3 1, what I'm going to do is a single frame animation. So I'm going to do it like, again, you might remember from first year, So when I'm about to jump, it gets ready to jump. But there's two ways I can do that. I can remove control from the player and then play a whole animation of it jumping and then give control back to the player. What I'm going to do is do a one frame thing, so it'll transition to one frame where it's like crouched, and then it'll transition to a looping like jump animation. Do you remember that at all? A little bit? So I'll try to do something like that. Let's do a one frame crouch. And I'll make it like super exaggerated because it's only one frame. Got some Dragon Ball stuff going on. Cool, so that's one frame. Lock that. And then we'll do a looping jump animation. So that will be 1, 3, 2, 2, 1, 4, 5, maybe. Let's press play and see how long it. Yeah. So it's gonna go in the air via code, so I don't actually need to make it like go up in the air, if that makes sense. Because it'll be controlled with code. I'll physics move it in game, but I just need to make sure the animation is okay. This. Super dramatic. The first thing I'm going to do is this. And I can just copy paste. So perfect. That's what I wanted. And it's a gentle loop, so I'm not going to do something too crazy. So just gonna, it's not the best loop, but it's fine. I might extend it actually. Rescale time, rescale keys, and 50, 5 extra frames. Yeah, slightly better. The head is jerking. Why is the head jerking? Yeah. It's just pushing back too far. Okay. Chess. And then we'll do like an opposite one for falling. Oh, what's this thing? Weird. I like the dramatic. Okay. And I'll just reuse the original kind of like get ready frame as the impact. So my animation starts from 0 to 165. 0 is just my reference frame. So if I press play, that's my full idle, my really dumb run. Okay. And I can export this. I should have much more animations, but for now this is fine. So export. As an FBX, make sure my animation is on. We're not going to bake for now. We're going to make sure deforming dummies to bones, yes. So basically those are like, all these will be converted into bones. Okay, export, and then let's go to Unity. Around here. So I have this to like just default robot. Put like a default material on it. So just to show you what it does, main camera. So this is the default little robot. Oh, it's really white. But it basically moves around, rotates and animates in the direction I have this set up for you already. And it jumps and stuff. And we'll just need to set up our little robot to do that as well. Okay. So let me disable this one. Still there, but and then I can import. Message. And I need to cut up the animations. So first of all, check the scale. It is a little large. Is it? It's a little large. So model 1.8 scale, and then animation. So we know frame 0 was nothing, but it's frame 1 to 100. That was loop time. That was Gerard underscore idle. And then test it. Make sure it works. Uh-oh, it's not working. Oh, and one. Okay, so we see Gerard working there. Looking pretty good. Oh, do you see the way there's a little jitter when it loops? Can you see that? Okay, so that sometimes is caused by the resamples, so we can try to turn these off. See if that works. It doesn't, so animation compression off, all that stuff off. So if that doesn't work, then what we do is we do like a little thing called a loop pose, and we do an additive reference pose. So I'm gonna like basically shorten these animations, like maybe 2 to 99. So I'm like removing one frame off the edges. Let's see if that works. Much better. Okay, and I'll do the pose from at 99 maybe. Okay, so does that make sense? So the animation is that length, and I just removed one frame off each end, and that made it smoother. Okay, apply. Basically, you're removing the way it might be corrupted because of animations on the other side of it, and you're removing their influence. So the next one was, what was it, 99, 101 to 130, wasn't it? Yeah. So 101 to 130, Gerard underscore run. Loop time. Let's see if that works. Yeah, don't need to do anything. It's ridiculous. It's fine. And there was one pose, so 131 to 131. That is the impact. And then we have jump and fall. Jump. That was 132 to where? (150). Again, loop, and again, let's make sure it loops okay. No, it doesn't. So we'll add the reference pose at 149. And then end at 149. Looks like that, right? And start at 123. Better. So it's smooth now. Great. Same thing again. Let's go to fall. And that is 1512165. Okay. Fine. Fall isn't the best, but cool. So that's all set up. So we need Gerard to go to the player. He's a little large still. 5 maybe. Yeah. Why is he up here though? Why is he up there? That is interesting. Because it's 0, 0, 0. The pivot point's correct. Is it there? Pivot point up there? At this place here, does it fall? Yeah, so let's bring it down. Oops, Gerard. Minus 1.94. Okay, cool. But he doesn't have an animator yet. So we need an animator. So we're going to add animator. I'll create an animator for Gerard. Animator controller. Gerard. Controller. Drag that onto Gerard. That's great. And then I have this little code here, face direction of movement script. Just going to copy and paste that. Okay, stuff. And then let's tweak the actual animator. So the animator has nothing in it right now. Let's bring in the animations we just made. So we got idle, that's the default. And then we got run. So let me see what the animation script is doing. So I'm doing anim.setFloat speed and vertical speed. That's the only two things I'm setting. So using this animator. So speed, parameters, and vertical speed. Oh, big speed and then current and vertical speed. Okay, so make transition to run when speed is what? You remember this from first year? We do greater than 0.1. Make transition back when speed is less than 0.1. And then when vertical speed at any state I wonder if this will work. If vertical speed is one, make this, and then go directly to jump. Go to transition to fall when the vertical speed is less than . And I need to turn off all the exit times. I wish exit time was off by default. Okay, hopefully this should work. What color should we make Gerard? Let me create a controller as well to make it easier to see. Assets, create material. This one will be red. What color we want him? Something silly. Pink. He is beautiful. Our little boy. So his transition speed might need to be shortened a little bit. So when starting to run is fine. I've stopped moving and he's kind of still playing through. So let's check that. Let's do the animator. So transition speed between from run back to idle. There's no exit time, but let's make the transition shorter. So it should snap back to idle faster. And then we haven't tested the jump yet, so no, I need to make it even shorter. Uh-oh. It's kind of funny. Oh no! So again, it's gone back to the reference pose. So if you remember that from T-pose and stuff, I don't know why it's gone back to reference pose though. So let's unmaximize, and I want to see what is happening in the animator. Did we mess up setting up the animator? Gerard. So idle, that's fine. Run. Yeah, it takes too long to come back. Exit time is off. Transition time is shorter, and maybe it should go back when the speed is less than 0.3 maybe. So it goes back faster. Yeah. Actually, I can increase the transition time. That's pretty good. Okay, now the jump is the question. So we got jump. Oh. 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 Okay, so it goes to impact, but it never comes back out of impact. Also, where is he? Oh no! Gerard, no! Okay, it came back. I don't know what happened there, but let's find out again. What? And he's locked. He's stuck in impact. Why? I'm gonna delete the robot here. Well, no, I don't need to, right? He's using the animator. Jump force, maybe that's something in my script, maybe? Input the Geki down space, add force, that's fine. And then why was it stuck here at the... It was stuck at impact frame, didn't go past it. Say again, sorry? It's any state, so it doesn't have a transition to it, you know what I mean? It shouldn't. So at vertical speed, it's greater than 0.01. And then if vertical speed is greater than 0. Why is this a problem? Maybe let's get rid of this and see if I can go directly to this one. Vertical speed is greater than 0.1. Start playing the jump. When it's less... Oh, speed. Vertical speed. should be vertical speed. Okay, this, and then impact. Oh, there's no condition to come back. No, that's fine. Don't need a condition. Does it? Or an exit time. Okay. So let's do a condition that vertical speed is less than 0.1 and greater than minus 0. Let's try that. Oh no. So it's going to this one. It's not coming back out. Oh, less than minus 0.1. Oh man, I'm being really dumb. So it should be falling. Also, that jump force is pretty weak. That's too strong. Come back to her. Is he falling? Where's he going? What's happening? He's still going. That must be a code problem. What's happening here? If input the cat key down. Which? Okay, XY jump force, and then let's add force without impulse, so it should be instant. Did I mess up in the code? This is an old code, so I haven't checked this yet, actually. Oh my god. Oh, because what? It does. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is it transitioning to itself? Sorry, nice. Good catch, good catch. I didn't see that. So he kept playing jump, obviously, because it's good catch. Good catch, good catch, good catch. Okay, and then that should go back down then when it falls, right? Yeah, it's going down. Why is the force so crazy? How's it gone to impact and it's gone... Has he jumped off the map? Gerard! Oh boy! Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Okay, let's change the force. Nice. 5. Oh, what's it doing in between? So it goes there, impact. Is the impact not working? Yeah, it's not. Impact is assigned to Gerard impact, and something is wrong with Gerard impact. Gerard impact, where are you? Animation. Gerard impact. 1 frame. Loop time on maybe? Oh, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Let's try that again. Yeah, something's wrong with Gerard Impact. Was that an error? The length of 0 frames will result in empty. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Easy fix. So 131 to 131 doesn't work. That's fine. Let's go back in here. Let's open up all the animation. Let's end at like 166. Make sure I grab every bone if I can. And it was at 131 here. So I'm just going to grab all of these frames, move them one frame to the side, and copy 131 a little bit. Okay, so then export. And if you remember, we can just overwrite. Okay. UMD hub. Show Explorer. Where did I export to? This file. And then I just need to tweak the actual prefab. So impact should be 131 to 132. And then everything after that goes up by one frame. Okay, come on. Let's see. Can we finally get it working? Where is he? Why has he disappeared? Gerard, why? What are you doing to me? He's gone. Oh no. Oh! No bottle? Oh no. Did I export? Did I do export selected? Did I? I'm so dumb. Why you wait for me to do the whole thing and then you're like, did you not know I was doing a mistake? You're like, no, make him suffer. Oh, Gerard, I miss you. Yay! Oh, I forgot it was high again. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down. Takes a little while, but it'll get there. It's crazy how much this forces so much power. Let's go! And you see the way, because it's only one frame, it, I think I should change it back to fix update though. I think it's probably why we're getting weird errors with the physics. And I'll share this prefab with you as well. Cool. Little marshmallow man. Okay. Said I would show you this as well. Oh, let me log in to Mixamo. One sec. Okay, so this is Mixamo. And there's a bunch of different solutions, but this one is pretty basic. It probably will be integrated to your logins because it's owned by Adobe now. And you can see there's a bunch of like basic animations all built in already. And I want to see if we can upload a character. So let's see if Gerard the robot will accept the max file. Don't know if it'll accept the max file. Oh, it does. That's great. Oh no. Let me try an FBX maybe. Oh. Maybe not. It usually does better with more organic characters, actually. Oh, we'll see. Aha! Okay. Look at it. Automatically rigged. All that effort we did. It's done. And then we can also tweak this. We can... I should be able to tweak it. Enable skeleton. Oh dear. I should be able to... Those are like gizmos. But I usually have like a thing where I can control where like the bones are. Let's see. Do I do it here? No. Did it not allow me anymore? Maybe I maybe not on this one. Oh, maybe. Because I sent in the animated one, right? Well, I tried the max file, but let me try. Yeah, file. What's the original one? It's what is the original one? Oh, I edited it, didn't I? So your original FBXs are. You think yours will work, Naomi?
I think since it's not really good,
yeah, we'll see whether that works. Oh, no, it's in Let's see, upload character, let's see if that works. Sometimes it doesn't get it, but usually when it has like 2 arms and 2 legs, it usually does. Yay! No! What? There we go. Orient. And ideally, as it says, have your character in T-pose and fingers spread apart. But we don't have that, so whatever. So we can do like chin here, wrists here, elbows, knees, groin. Up to 2 minutes. What? We should just given it the original one. Yes, but not. It's not perfect. But usually for a humanoid model, it's pretty good. We'll see what it does. But usually it's pretty good. You need to be like this, and then spread it out. Usually it does a pretty good job. Obviously, it doesn't work for like if I have a spine. Oh, yeah, not bad. But you see the way it's a little bit like, you know? So it's like, but with organic characters, it's usually pretty good. Pretty good. Sometimes it's you pop it in and it's like perfect. Sometimes. So with that, let's say this is done, or even when I uploaded mine that had the bones already done, you know, like and it was working. When I uploaded the FBX, the previous one, it will still work. So I have that done, and then I can do like, come on, Gerard, let's go, and then I can increase the intensity, overdrive. Character arm space. Woo! Let's go. You can do like a block. Oh, poor Gerard. Oh no. So it's great for like some of the, especially for prototyping. You guys should definitely be using this for prototyping. You might not get exactly the animation you want, but if you're just testing stuff out and just making sure it works, this is great. You can use it for a final as well. but usually when you go to final, you need to tweak it to make it like, especially if you want stylized stuff. So I would suggest watching. A really good one is How a Hero is Made. This one, this video. It's very good, and there's a few around this as well. I'll share that into 2W. But basically, they do things like smear frames. So, like, if I move my arm from here to here, I can in animation just do like that. But they might do something where like it bends and then my arm is stretched super far. You ever see those like awful McCree ones, where it's like or Cassidy ones? That's the same kind of thing. So the smear frame in motion works. So like let's do Simpsons smear. So these kind of things. So that's when they're moving. So obviously they're making like Homer move there. So in still, it doesn't work. But when it's in motion, it makes it look like it's a really quick motion. And the same can be done in 3D as well. So often you'll do stuff like if I'm like putting my hand up, I might even stretch my hand and then expand my actual hand bit, stretch my arm, and then expand my hand to like make the motion look more impressive. And then there's loads of other different things. So I don't know if anyone knows the Dragon Ball fighting game. There's like bits, so they had a problem with cameras. Cameras are locked, so they couldn't like do zoom-ins. So there's a part where like does this, and there's like a power ball on the hand, and you might think, based on the look, that it does this and the camera zooms into the hand, but it doesn't because it can't do that with the field of view. So what they do is it just huge. The hand is just massive, and through the camera it looks like it just puts it up to the camera, but it's actually the hand just expanding hugely. So there's loads of little things like that you won't be able to do. I would watch this video to try and get an understanding. So this will give you very generic animations, but they're pretty good, and they will be usable for a lot of stuff, especially like NPCs and stuff. Oh, I want to see him excited. Come on, excited. Okay, wait, let me see if we can go back. Do I have any other... Do I have a history? No. Characters... Excuse me. My bad. No, let me upload the one that I already rigged. So you can also rig... That's what I did. So if you have a pre-rigged character, they generally work. Especially if they have the right... like naming convention. Using a cat rig usually makes the naming convention work fine, straight out the box. So this one's like correct because I rigged it. Has been up received this card, your previous card will be saved. Animations. And then you can download it. So when you download it, it comes in as like FBX. Now the problem with that is you have a load of individual FBXs downloaded, but you know the way in Unity, when you go to Unity, you can open up the FBX and just grab the animation from it. So that's how you would use it. You would download the FBX and use just the animation from it. That make sense? Dodge, come on, dodge for me. Woo! And you can search for stuff. So give me an animation. Man had no balls. Let's do a stylish one. Where you go? Where you go? Oh, this is another problem actually. They sometimes animate in 3D space. So if I was animating this, I would like it to stay in place. So then when it moves in code. So sometimes you'll have to remove that as well. Like get rid of the root node. Let's do like a disk platform. Woo! Oh boy. Like that one better, I think. No form. Full overdrive. Full arm space. That's great, isn't it? So these are like libraries of animations that you can just use. Most of them are motion captured. Oh, look at him. He thinks he's big. Mutant what?
I think it's yeah. I think it's yeah.
My boy angry. His burrito didn't come with cheese. That's cool, though. Alright, so yeah, that's it for